I'm long range. Me and the team on the same thing. Stayed down, never switched up. Only thing changed was the game. I'm in the zone now. Nothing can change what we on now. When I pull up, know it's going down. Foot on the gas, ain't no slowing down.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Clydesdale Media Roundtable. It's another Tuesday afternoon lunch hour chat with my friend Kat. What's going on?
Hello. Not much. How are you?
Good. Just like I told you off air, got back yesterday about 1 o'clock. Crashed hard. Still tired. 5 days straight on that concrete stuff was insane. One day they had the Dahmer mat extend out the back of where I was allowed to be. So like I could stand on that and it was pretty nice, but I only got one of the 5 days where I could kind of be.
Oh no.
But
yeah, I bet that was a long haul. I've got I'm taking care of a dog and she's barking. So that will be the show today. Thank goodness Mike's gone with the other dog because the two of them are like this the whole time.
Fun.
Good stuff. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
Tuesday, Tuesday, first day of the week. Feels like a Monday. It's really Tuesday.
Don't the 4-day weeks feel like longer? Because you're cramming it all in.
Something like that. I feel like that's the case, yes.
So I'm also doing an Instacart, as I told you. That's how.
Hi, Corey.
And Corey. Oh, Corey Leonard. What's up, man? And so they can't find my ground beef that I need. So.
Damn it. Okay, I'm going to yell at this dog real quick. Hold on.
So, didn't have any groceries when we got back yesterday. So doing the Instacart and he's halfway through shopping.
Instacart. That's what Braden Shear does every time he needs food.
There you go.
Because there's a credit card to pay for it. Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
Well, my head is spinning from all of the CrossFit stuff. So I don't know if we want to talk about that first or talk about your weekend first, or maybe we talk about this and get it out of the way. That way we can talk about some other fun stuff. But when I have like 127 missed videos on YouTube, when I don't really subscribe to that many things except CrossFit things, my head is spinning. I feel like I need 3 days to scour through videos to find out what the hell's going on. But it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. None of it.
So when you have an 8.5 hour drive and you're trying to make time go quick, you can catch up on a lot of the videos.
I bet. So I'm way behind and you're probably all caught up.
So
what are your feels?
I have not seen the Marco Hiller thing. I'll probably dive into that today or tonight. But what I did dive into is the PFAA thing because I have been kind of banging the drum on that for a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of saw this coming, right? Because my bone of contention was that you're a professional organization. With that comes a structure that you need to have. And I felt like there were steps skipped in the process of becoming the organization that they are. I have a great relationship with Brent Fikowski, and I want the athletes, to have a voice, but I want it to be done in a way that is very, that is a professional organization. With that, there are parliamentary rules that come with being a professional organization. I have been the president of one in the past. I've been a board member of one in the past, and I'm still a member of that professional organization. And so when I see what they're doing, it doesn't jive with what I know to be a professional organization. With that comes a board that is elected by the body. And you can write your bylaws for whatever that means, right? But you have to have bylaws that say what it is. Then if there are they're running the business, the professional organization business that the board can vote on and move forward with. There is but then there are bigger items that if you're representing the body in anything you do, you should take that as a vote to that body so that you have whatever you deem to be a passing vote to then push it out, like call for someone's head representing the athletes, right? And if you're the athletes you're representing, then should have a voting right in that bylaw parliamentary rule stuff, right? It has become apparent with the release of an interview done by Savon with Saxon Panchek and Angelo DiCicco that the body did not get the opportunity to vote on those demands that were put out.
Right. And even there don't seem to be any definitions about what that body even is, what that body consists of.
So basically, it's anyone who's made the games in the last 2 years is eligible to vote. But in the Coffee Pods and Wads piece, Brent and Pat said that the board took on, the reason they signed that and took that on is because there were athletes afraid for retaliation of making that demand.
That's weird. Hold on, I'm closing my door.
Yeah, I feel like there's what Brent and Pat have asked for is transparency from CrossFit. And I don't think we're getting that transparency from this organization in how it's structured, how the votes went down, why the demands are what they are.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then Saxon made it clear that he did not get a chance to vote on this. Angelo's not eligible because he's a team athlete and it's only individuals at the games.
Oh, that doesn't sound right. That doesn't feel good.
No, because aren't the teams using the same lake, the same rig, the same floor?
Right.
Right. But they're not represented. And then a lot of what the PFAA has asked for, like ropes being cut, like bar heights, ring heights, those affect semifinal athletes too.
Sure.
So and if I'm a professional organization, I want as many people in my body that I represent as possible, not limit it to a small amount. So again, I feel like Robert's rules, yes, Holly, Robert's rules of order are for everyone. Those are the parliamentary rules that people follow so that like your members can't come back around and say, hey, I didn't know. Hey, I didn't get a chance to vote. Hey, you're representing me without my permission. And that's what's happening now. Saxon and Angelo come out and say, hey, you're saying that you represent the interests of athletes, and we didn't get a say in this.
Yeah, what did they say? Like less than 10 or 10-ish people signed off on that, on the demands?
I think it was 7 or 8. Corey says team athletes aren't athletes. Sounds pretty messed up. Yeah, some of those team athletes like Noah Olson, like Angelo DiCicco, like now Noah would qualify because like in Mathilde would qualify because of their individual success the year before.
Yeah, but even the team members that we've never heard of, like they have the same voice, or they should have the same right to a voice.
And all of this is going to trickle down to semifinals. Anything CrossFit runs, right? From semifinals up, I think you should, and no masters, no teens, no teams. It's just a very, very small number.
Here's an obscure question. Sorry, finish your thought.
It just seems like it's a small group of asking for what they want and not a true representation. And that's what Saxon claims on the Savon podcast, is that he's talked to several athletes that do not believe, especially in number 3 of the demands.
Mm-hmm. Here's something to wonder. What do you think things would have turned out differently if Rich Froning was in the games? Like if he was part of the group of athletes affected that day? I feel like he would have led differently, perhaps. It's just something to think about. I mean, it's irrelevant because it would never happen.
I don't know.
Wonder.
I don't know. I know that Rich is more of a leader in those cases and does speak his mind. If you look at Wadapalooza a couple years ago, when it rained and the safety concerns, and he did step in and he did take over. Lynn is bringing up that Instagram is full of stories from medics and coaches who were isolated by Castro as soon as they brought concerns to him. The only thing I know for sure is an Emily Abbott issue that she brought to him during Murph. I don't really know many other aspects. And again, I think it's fine if that's what you want to ask for, but don't say you're representing all athletes and then find out that you're not representing all athletes.
Yeah, or not even a majority of athletes.
Right.
Not even most athletes.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know intimately all the concerns that people have with Castro. When Brent and Pat were asked about that, they said it was a trust issue because they had asked Dave not to say that the decision to move forward with the games was a consensus between athletes and CrossFit. And then in the next day in review, Dave said that 70 whatever % of the athletes agreed to move on. So Aaron, I have had Brent on a couple times to talk about the PFAA. I will try again.
Yeah, I think the question more is since the incident. I mean, I'm sure those guys have been bombarded with, and after their last one, I don't know how willing they'd be to go on a podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to get that out there first, and then maybe we can transition to some happier things.
But what I think is happening now is you have dissension in the athletes, and now athletes are questioning leadership of the PFAA, are questioning the skills of the people leading the PFAA, and now it's just getting really ugly.
Yeah.
And I have never said from the beginning of this that I don't believe I wanted the PFAA to succeed. I just wanted
to work
put a structure in place to prevent these things from happening. And now we're here, and it's going to be hard to put the toothpaste back in the tube.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great analogy.
So Aaron, I will try to get Brent on. I've tried to get Pat on for years and cannot seem to get him on. But Brent and I have a good relationship, and I will try to get Brent on. Let's talk about this. So on a happier note, I got to go to the Masters CrossFit Games last week.
Yeah.
And put in a ton of work. Started editing today. We're hoping to get episode 1 of the behind the scenes done for a Monday or Tuesday release next week in the morning.
Awesome. That's a quick turnaround.
Which will be check-in day. And all I ask is that you bear with me because this is my first behind the scenes, and it gets better as it goes on. I get so much better at how I get them to talk by the end of the weekend. Really like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it picks up a lot. Wednesday and Thursday, I was struggling to get people to talk. And then I had access issues that I have not talked about because I wanted to get out of Dodge with the footage. Before I talked about that, we negotiated full access to the warm-up area. That changed when I got there. And so I was not able to walk up to people. I had to like yell from a barricade to get them to come
That
over and
sucks.
talk to me, which many of them did. But it's really hard when people are trying to warm up to get
Sure.
them to like hop off a bike and come see me, which was kind of a bummer. But hopefully when we get this proof of concept out of what we're trying to accomplish and people see it, then the next time we try to do this, we get the full access we asked for. And it comes down to they ran a team competition at the same time they were running the games, and the warm-up area was so full of the team members that it got really crowded.
Interesting. Did the teens do the same thing, or no? The teens just did individuals.
So the teens did a JV version. So they did a 19 to 22 year old division.
Okay. Individuals.
Correct.
Okay.
Maybe they call that varsity. It was like a college age kind of thing.
Okay.
Of individuals to because their big belief is that a lot of, especially the men, are not able to jump from the teen division immediately into individual. So give them another division to kind of work their way through. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So probably not as many people then to accommodate.
No.
When you look at the numbers. Yeah. Team is tough. And there was teams of 4, right?
Some 3, some 4.
Okay. Yeah.
But it was chaotic in the back for sure whenever they were warming up. And I felt bad for the Masters individual athletes who are there for their games, right? Like, and having to give way to these team people jumping on bikes. And that's the only cardio piece of machinery they had in the warm-up area was a handful of bikes. And when the bikes were on the floor, there was only like 2 in the back.
That stinks.
Yeah. Now they did have a ton of platforms. They had a ton of rig space, and stuff like that. They had a lot of barbells, dumbbells, just not.
Yeah, and I'm sure hopefully this will evolve and get better with feedback and everything else. Were the athletes happy with sort of the logistics behind the scenes type stuff, or were there headaches for them?
So I would say 90% were ecstatic at the way it went.
Okay,
And it was on the clock the entire weekend. There was only 1 10-minute delay running 3 floors, and you've run competitions before. Like, for that to happen is epic. You knew by looking at the schedule for the day when your athlete was when that heat was going, when it was starting, and it was on the clock the entire weekend.
Awesome.
For the most part, I would give them, for first year, I would give them a B+ in the overall event.
Okay. Solid.
I think it lacked the pageantry of the games. Like, I think they needed to do kind of an opening ceremony type thing. That would have been really cool. The lines for check-in were really long.
Okay.
So I think
athlete check-in. Oh, like when they're
check-in.
Yeah, when they're getting their gear.
Yeah, and then the pictures, and I think with a couple tweaks there, and again, year 1,
right.
I think they can fix a lot of this pretty easily. I know there's so many athletes that the 20-person heats made it run smoothly, but it did make it hard to tell the story.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So
Jeff wants to know how was the crowd?
So I'll just from you'll hear in the behind the scenes like how loud the crowd was. The athletes talk about it's the loudest they've ever experienced as a games athlete.
Cool.
because in Madison or Carson, they were kind of an afterthought.
Yeah.
And here they were the main show, and the floors were surrounded by tons of people.
That's great.
And all 3 floors were packed the entire weekend. And the athletes were raving at how that felt to them.
There was a guy, I want to say 55 to 59, Kevin McVeigh from CrossFit Kennett Square, which is the gym that I started at and where I first coached. And everybody had these blue shirts on that said Kev, Kev on it. And apparently they were like the Sea of Green from Invictus that you remember from years past. Like they were one of the larger groups that were there for him, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, because of the fundraiser shirts, there was a lot of that,
Yeah,
which was
that's
really
cool.
cool.
You could kind of tell where the
Yeah, who
people
they were
were. I
there
love it.
cheering on, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was really cool. And our very own Jamie Latimer, she had a lot of people there as well, all in Latimer shirts, cheering her on, and she took 4th overall in her division,
Awesome.
which is pretty awesome.
Corey says, I was glued to my TV phone. Chase and Sean absolutely killed it. You can tell they had so much fun.
Yeah, I got to talk to Sean. He was so appreciative of being back, and he's been getting a lot of love. And I said, people don't know what they got till it's gone, right? And then he goes, yeah. And I've been there was an outpouring of love that he received. And we talked about him on both this show and the Sunday night show. And he wanted to thank me and everybody from it because he loved the words that we said about him. And so he was in a really good place, and it was cool to kind of chat with him.
Good. Jay Birch said he saw a lot of judges that he worked with. Did you see a lot of familiar judge faces?
So I talked about this a little bit on a wrap-up show. Is what stinks is there was a diluted judge field, because you had half in Michigan for the teens, and you had half in Birmingham for the masters. And I think that led to some subpar judging.
Okay.
But I did see a lot of people that I recognized, a lot of high-end judges.
Mm-hmm.
But I also saw people that were there for the first time and heard people talking about, oh my gosh, my first experience judging is the games. And that is, you never want that to be the case.
Or you don't want to hear that as an athlete, for sure.
Right. And so yeah.
But I mean, you need bodies, you need volunteers to do it, and if it's slim pickings, not much you can do about that.
I think next year they either have to combine the teens and the masters into one competition, and
or stagger them,
into different weekends. But some of our friends were head judges at this that I had never been head judges before.
Oh, that's good.
Which was really cool to see them promoted up to that. But every time you see that, that means that you're diluting the judges on the
right.
field.
They're not on the floor anymore. Yeah,
right.
They're really good on the floor.
But you're happy for them to get that, and you're just hoping that other people have had the experience to get to where they were while they were on the floor.
Right.
So, Jay Birch said he would have volunteered but couldn't get to Alabama. It was a good time. It was a necessary step to move forward in this community, and it was the right group to do it with, because they are what CrossFit's all about.
Yeah.
I said this last night, watching 65 plus do bar muscle ups was goosebump all over. Like,
yeah. Was that the last event?
Yeah. And the crowd was so loud when they were hitting the bar muscle ups. Like, it just was really cool. They only did one event on the final day, and it was single arm dumbbell thrusters. And for the older group, it was chest to bar, with the last set being 4 bar muscle ups. And then for the younger group, it was all bar muscle ups. And because it was one event, everybody was crowded around that one floor, and it was so loud for that last event for every group. Corey says, dude, yes, I was yelling at my TV. That was wild to watch. Yeah.
Yeah, very cool.
And you'll see in the behind the scenes, there's a lot of athletes that are like, hey, we want to do handstand walks. Hey, we want to do ring muscle ups. Like, give us the opportunity to show what we can do. But again, it's year one. Everybody's trying to find their way. And I think this was a good first step. And hopefully we can continue to improve and move forward in this way.
Yeah. Although we have to remember it's year one for this format, but it's not the first CrossFit Games for 60 plus athletes, right? I mean,
Right.
they've been
First
doing
time
this since.
programmers, though. First time
Yeah.
event organizers. It's a lot of new stuff in this first year. One problem in the CrossFit world is everyone expects perfection from everyone, from CrossFit HQ, from comps, and now from PFAA. As to the PFAA, sometimes something is better than nothing. Again, I have no beef with the PFAA. I just wanted them to solidify their organizational structure so that when this came about, they were able to defend what they were doing.
Yeah.
Like, I like Brent a lot. Brent's been on the show a ton. So anyway, Holly said, seems like quite a few got their first muscle up on that one based just on what people were saying around where I was sitting. I agree. And I heard it in the back. People were
PRing. That's always fun to watch.
People were PRing things left and right all weekend, which is always cool to see. They did cut Saturday night, but a lot of some of the people that got cut PR'd their front squat as their last event, and like tears were running down their cheeks. They were so happy. And I got some of that on the behind the scenes. So, yeah, it's going to be fun.
Very cool.
So yeah.
How was your co-pilot Juju? How'd she do all weekend?
So Juju
still ready to strangle each other, or?
So she had some knee pain some days, so she just hung back at the hotel, which is fine. But we're good at riding together.
Mm-hmm.
We have interesting discussions. She was listening into the PFA podcasts and giving her input here and there.
Awesome.
Allowed me to debate with her a little bit, which gave me good practice. Coming into the shows. But yeah, everything's good.
Good.
So yeah, that was the weekend that was. And again, behind the scenes, it's going to be called All Access. It's going to be called All Access, the story behind the scenes of the Masters CrossFit Games. And it'll be coming out next week, Monday or Tuesday morning. I'm shooting for Monday morning, but just saying that maybe one or the other, just in case. It was lovely meeting Holly for the first time. So Holly, it was lovely meeting my wife, but I got to meet Holly in person for the first time. She is the best stats and info person in the business. If you did not see the amount of volume of leaderboards she did this weekend, keeping up with every single event, even the teams and the 70 plus and all of that.
And she included the names of the people that were on the teams, which I really appreciate, because I was following some teams and I don't remember what everyone calls their team name, but I knew the people I was looking for. So
yeah, it was cool.
Great.
Really cool.
Corey says he wants all the access.
Well, we didn't get all of it this year, but we got a lot of it. And hopefully next year we'll get all.
Was anybody mean to you?
I will plead the fifth.
Dang it. All right. After this is over, I want to hear
not as bad as other places. Not as bad as other places. Yeah. We had one run in on Saturday morning that I had to take care of. And I did have a volunteer try to stop me from getting into the media area.
Oh my gosh.
So,
Awesome.
but anyway, there's that.
Never happens.
Oh my, it's every competition.
Yeah, there's always something.
And I'm a rule follower to a fault.
Same.
And I follow the rule they give me, and then I get told that that's not what they want anymore or whatever. Yeah. I guess I made the stream.
Corey sent you a blurry picture of yourself.
Yeah.
Well, once the stream finally started, it was okay. But man, people were losing their minds. When was it? Thursday morning? Whenever it was supposed to start, and it wasn't happening, and everyone was piling onto everybody's Instagram, whoever they could find, saying, "Why isn't this on? Where's the live stream?" I had a hard time finding it too, but
it's so funny that people come up to me and like, "Hey, what's up with the live stream?"
I know.
I do not work for the streaming
I even reached out to you. I was
anything.
like, "Hey, where can we watch this?" Or you're like, "I'm on the floor. I'm not even watching. I don't know. Like, figure it out."
Yeah. Because like, and then the media area was in a kind of a cool place, but like we were open to people coming up and asking us questions, and like everyone's like, "Hey, what's going on with this and going on with that?" And I'm like, I have no idea.
Yeah. That was like me at that CrossFit competition when people were telling me that we needed more toilet paper. I was like, I don't work here. I have no idea. But guess who learned where the key was and changed the toilet paper rolls 3 or 4 times during that competition? This girl.
There you go.
Because that's just kind of the person I am.
I can't speak to the stream because I only watched it a little tiny bit. But they did run 2 streams to cover 2 of the floors at a time. And there was a 3rd floor that didn't get streamed. So, anyway, listen, I talked to Tommy Marquez. He told me that like it was bare bones what they were given from a commentator standpoint, but they were having a good time. They weren't trying to use,
and that's hard too because they're calling athletes and they don't know who those athletes are. You know, it's not like calling the final heat of the individual athletes where you know everybody. So that has to be a difficult gig.
Yeah.
And I mean, we probably know more people in the space than they do, you know, for sure. Just because
I was surprised how many people I knew.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I'm gonna leave it with this story. It's always a blast hanging out with Dex, right? Because you never know what you're gonna get.
Yep.
If you did not see a story or you did not see the stream, Dex hurt his wrist back in May. He was praying that he would be able to get through everything to get through the games. And he was not able to handstand walk on the first night. The next night was the snatch ladder. And he didn't know what to do. So he mix gripped the snatches on the snatch ladder, hit the heaviest bar, pops it out, mix grip. And Dex, then he gets back to the warm-up area and he's telling everybody the cool thing he just did.
I saw his front squat.
And all like it, just anybody who would listen, he's telling it.
Yeah. That's cool. So I didn't realize that his wrist was hurt. And I noticed that he was noticeably absent from, the top of the leaderboard. And I wondered what was going on. And then I did see him do his front squats with one arm just kind of straight out. And I thought something's got to be going on.
So Ortega got a front on angle of the mixed grip snatch. We have him bragging in the back, and that is going to be a highlight of the snatch event for the behind the scenes. So it's going to be really cool. And shout out to Ellie Hiller, Jonathan Ortega, Caitlin Walters, and Holly for killing it all weekend with this thing. And I can't wait to see what the final product is.
Yeah, that's super cool. A little more commentary on the commentary. Chase and Sean, Golden, Tommy and Lauren. I like this one. Lauren says someone's name incorrectly. Tommy corrects her, and they kept moving. She's lucky I didn't send her some Instagram DMs like I used to do.
I love Tommy Marquez. That guy has had our back through thick and thin, through everything. I will never say a bad word about Tommy Marquez ever.
Yeah. No, he's a good human for sure.
When you're in the thick of things and that dude always has your back. I don't care what anybody says about him. He's a great dude. And I can't say that about a lot of people.
Back to the front squats with Dex. I remember 2016 maybe open workout. There were some squat cleans or some kind of cleans that we had to do multiple times, and I had a terrible cyst on my wrist where I couldn't get into a front rack. And I remember I sent a video to Dave Castro prior to the evening of me doing the workout, asking him if it was okay the way I was doing it, because I wasn't sure if it was actually going to be counted or not in the open. And it's me doing cleans, and every time I hit the clean, I have one arm out like this and one arm like this, catching the bar, because it was that important to me that my score counted. Or that like anyone cared that my score was actually my score, because this was before quarterfinals and everything else. But I remember legitimately like panicking and thinking like, oh my gosh, they are going to, not let me do that because it was incorrect.
One other thing about the front squat really quick is if people don't know, Kat has a small crush on a Canadian athlete who's been around the sport a long time, and his name is Paul Tremblay.
You see my contacts? I'm wearing my blue eyes today.
So Mr. Blue Eyes, Paul Tremblay, did you see his front squat attempt at 455?
I didn't.
So I think it was Woodford had taken the lead at 450. Paul lined up 455, gets down, comes up, and is like an inch from the top and drops it.
No.
Yeah. It is one of the coolest. Like, you have to go back and watch the stream, because he comes so close and the crowd just went bananas.
Yeah, I was surprised he didn't win the snatch ladder.
Yeah,
he loves a good.
He's in the behind the scenes too. I don't want to give too much away, but like,
okay.
Because I said, now that you're in the Masters division, are you a new athlete or is it the same athlete you were? He goes, oh, I'm the same athlete. Top 5, bottom 5, top 5, bottom 5.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good for him.
Yeah. But yeah, it's really good stuff. Athena's in the chat. What's going on, Athena? Good to see you. And that's enough. We'll talk Masters some more, because we're gonna have episodes coming out for the next few weeks for sure. But you're dog sitting today.
I am. She's sleeping right now. I do. I have a Rover account, and this little girl, JC, lives about 20 minutes away, and her mom is out all day. And I said, why don't I just bring her to my house instead of going there and having to stay there? She lives on like a farm. And it's just not comfortable for me to like actually work and do. So I brought her home with me, and she and Leia have been wrestling nonstop. Like, it's like crazy town in here. So Mike just went to Dunkin' for lunch, and he took Leia with him so that JC now is sleeping on the floor. They can finally rest.
Right before we went on the air, we had lots of barking. We thought this was going to be a wild ride.
Yeah, no,
now,
I've locked her in, and she's like dead asleep.
Don't wake a sleeping dog.
Yeah, she's good. She's going to be exhausted. Her mom's probably going to think like she's ill when she gets home, because she's going to be so freaking tired. But yeah.
Yeah. My
Did
daughter
I
showed
didn't.
up last night.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, so she was
with her
called for
dog
dirt.
and her boyfriend.
No. She came
Okay,
solo, thank
just check.
goodness.
Okay.
Uh, so and I love her boyfriend. I'm not saying that, and I love her dogs, but I'm allergic to dogs now that we know,
Yeah. No
and so I'm just
extra
trying to get
dander
to
in the
my
house.
first immunotherapy before I get like too doused in all this stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but she got called for jury duty. I sent her the
Mm.
information 6 weeks ago because she doesn't even live in the state anymore,
Yeah.
and she forgot all about it till this weekend.
Oh
And it's a
no.
holiday weekend. She can't even like call anybody.
Right.
So she drove over here last night to show up this morning to show that she no longer lives in the state, got excused, and now she has to drive back to Pennsylvania.
Ugh. Well, at least she didn't have to stick it out.
Yeah. And we got to see her and we got to hug her and we
Yeah,
got to love on her for a
that's
night, which
good.
was really cool.
That's good.
Jay Birch says, I'm allergic to boyfriends
And
and
girlfriends,
girlfriends
for
too.
that matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
Um, yeah, she's been with her boyfriend for 2 years. He's a really good dude.
We like him, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and he takes care of her really well. So
Oh,
we're
that's
we're
good.
okay with this one. But yeah, that was crazy that she came in last night. We were so exhausted. Um, but got to spend a little bit of time with her anyway.
That's good. That's
And
good.
that always makes my wife a happy person.
Mm, I bet. Seeing her kiddo.
It recharges every battery in her body to see her kid.
I
And
know
I'm
what
sure
that
you know
feels
what that
like.
feels like.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Well, do you want a dog update or not? A dash update. So Doodles, I made an appointment to put him to sleep last Wednesday, and we took him to the vet. Did I tell the story yet?
On
I
text,
guess
but
not.
not to
Okay.
the audience doesn't know.
We took him to a vet that was closer to our house where he used to be a patient, and they refused to put him to sleep because they didn't think the diagnosis was correct, and they begged us to do more testing on him. So we did, and he's worse, and he's probably, I don't even know, my ex-husband is dealing with it, and I don't know what's going to happen, but probably he's not going to be around very long. And so we're going to go from 3 dogs to 1 dog in less than 2 months at the house, and it's just crazy. It's like I'm like numb to it anymore, which sucks because like you want to feel the feels, but like sitting in that vet office sobbing and having this vet come up and say like, I don't really feel like this is the right thing to do. She's like, I'll do it if you want, but I really feel like we need more answers here. It's like, what are you going to say? So yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Getting lots of love in the chat right now.
yeah,
Um,
it sucks. Sucks. And I've never been one of those people that thought like they would let things go too long. I always thought like I've always been very reactive to, oh, there's a problem, like we're going to just fix it and not sort of like wait and see. And I feel like I'm one of those people now that's like waited too long almost. So anyway, it's nice to be around healthy dogs and all that to kind of distract me. But yeah, Chris will be down to 1 dog this week probably.
I will say on a lighter note, the Masters competition was dog friendly.
Oh, was it? That's cool.
Yeah, there were dogs all throughout the venue.
I love it.
Dogs in the athlete area. I know Kyle Ruth brought his dog so that he would be comfortable in between events
That's cool.
and be able to relax and kind of de-stress from the workout.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were dogs everywhere, which did not help my allergies at all. But
I bet not.
I thought I was getting a break going to Alabama, and we booked a
Right.
hotel that was pet friendly, and the venue was pet friendly. So yeah, dogs everywhere. Mark
Well,
Hutchinson
hopefully.
had 2 of his dogs there.
Oh, Mark Hutchinson. Yeah, gosh, I haven't seen him since Mac a couple years ago.
He'll probably be the end of the whole behind the scenes because he
Oh,
poses a
really?
question at the very end that is very riveting, and I just got to pull the right video to go with it. But yeah, He's
He's a
probably
character.
going to end the documentary series.
I called the voice that I had last week. That was my Mark Hutchinson voice, really, when you think about it.
His voice was better this week.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah. It's the best I had seen him.
Yeah.
I am actually I'm being told by my doctor to take Zysol, the new allergy pill, and 2 of them every night before bed. It is as bad as Benadryl in knocking you out.
Wait. Why is that bad? I would say knocking you out is good. No?
It's hard to wake up from the next.
Oh, that's not good then. Yeah.
No. Trying to get to work and log in and keep my eyes open during meetings has been very tough.
I bet.
But it is way more effective than any other allergy pill I've ever taken.
Good to know.
So yeah. Zysol, the one with the little owl. Yeah, it does drive me out, Jay Birch, and you can hear it. But I start immunotherapy next week, and then we'll see where we go from there. And I think Kat has frozen completely. So with that, guys, hey, thanks for being here. Great crowd in the chat today. You guys make this show what it is. You're the best. We love you all. And we will see everybody next week on the Clydesdale Media Roundtable. Bye, guys.